Visit licensureexams.com and try our samples completely free of charge.
Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Narcissistic Personality Disorder, as described by the DSM-5-TR, is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy or behavior, as well as a need for admiration and a lack of empathy that begins in early adulthood. This occurs in a variety of contexts and has at least 5 indicators out of the 9 that are listed in the DSM-5-TR. These individuals tend to devalue others for their imperfections. At times, they may idealize others whom they feel meet their criteria for perfection, only to be disappointed when the idealized figure ultimately fails or lets them down in some way. Grandiosity is the most useful feature in differentiating narcissistic personality from histrionic, antisocial, or borderline personality. Excessive pride and a lack of emotional expression may distinguish narcissistic from histrionic personality. A fairly stable sense of self, lack of self-destructive and impulsive behavior, and abandonment concerns may distinguish narcissistic from borderline personality. These individuals are often extremely vulnerable to fluctuations in self-esteem, rage, and depression if slighted, or if they feel that they have been rejected or defeated in some way. Depression is often the reason for seeking psychotherapy after some such disappointment has occurred. While individuals with narcissistic personality disorder may be quite arrogant, others may hide their sense of superiority behind humility and self-sacrifice. The theoretical approaches applied with this disorder are cognitive behavioral, interpersonal, and psychodynamic psychotherapy. For deeper changes, a more dynamic and longer-term approach is useful. The goals for CBT treatment should be to find new ways to maintain self-esteem, increased sensitivity toward others, improved problem-solving, and increased self-awareness. Psychodynamic psychotherapy is considered in some circles to be the treatment of choice for these individuals. Self-psychology, originally developed by Heinz Kohut, seeks to empathize with the individual's hurts and disappointments. This mirroring and allows the development of an idealizing transference. Empathic breaks or failures in empathy are inevitable and provide an opportunity for reparation of these breaks. The pattern of disappointment and repair allows the client to become aware of his or her sensitivity to disappointment and to internalize the imperfect but sensitive other of the therapist. Interpersonal therapy is a short-term approach to help the individual to gain deeper understanding of the issues that prevent deeper intimacy in relationships. The approach allows the client to gain more empathy for others and gain a more realistic view of relationships, thereby improving social support. The clinician must be cautious, whatever the approach, not to confront interpersonal deficiencies or lack of empathy too soon. The individual may have come to therapy because of depression that resulted from disappointment and feelings of defeat. One must be cautious to rebuild the individual's self-esteem and develop a working alliance before confronting the deficits that create their interpersonal problems. Further, mirroring behavior on the part of the therapist will undoubtedly bring out the arrogant behavior that is their pattern. One must be careful in their own response to the interpersonal defects that create difficulties in most other relationships, while still maintaining a broad perspective. Conduct an assessment and address any safety issues. You will also need to establish a therapeutic relationship so you can motivate them for treatment. A thorough clinical history and psychosocial will be needed. A personality assessment may be useful. Now that we've covered the basics of narcissistic personality disorder, let's go over a final summary of different theoretical approaches used in treatment. Schema therapy is often considered highly effective for personality disorders. including narcissistic personality disorder, because it directly addresses deep-seated maladaptive schemas that drive narcissistic behaviors. It combines cognitive, behavioral, and experiential techniques, making it a comprehensive approach. Transference-focused psychotherapy is specifically designed for treating personality disorders, particularly those in the cluster B category, which includes narcissistic personality disorder. It uses the therapist-client relationship to explore and modify the client's dysfunctional interpersonal patterns. Cognitive behavioral therapy is effective for addressing the cognitive distortions and behaviors associated with narcissistic personality disorder. It's widely used and adaptable, but may not go as deep into the personality structure as other therapies like schema therapies. Psychodynamic therapy, while traditional psychodynamic therapy can be effective, it tends to be more long-term and may not always engage individuals with narcissistic personality disorder, who often struggle with introspection and the therapeutic process. However, when tailored to narcissistic personality disorder, it can address underlying issues effectively. It's in there. You can do it.